the attractive to them. I've learned a lot, but these are just a few. I will drop here for now and have a great day. Bye.
Today I learned about the different domains within cybersecurity. There's 8, and the most non-technical one is security and risk management, and that covers the GRC, governance, risk, and compliance section of cyber. I also learned that that is the most non-technical domain, and also it's good to assess your own skill set and the things that you like, and use those transferable skills to a role within the GRC field that would best the things that you like and skill set that you have, and also to network and research and learn things within the field to hone your skills and make you more knowledgeable about cybersecurity.
Hi, I'm back again for some other commentary on day number 2. I wanted to share that we got a scoop into some industry secrets. I would say there are so many nuggets that he shared with us. He told us that we need to adopt and pivot, and that we need to understand the rules of engagement when we're applying for these types of roles. And also that it's kind of just the game. He also shared with us some terms, definitions, concepts, and how we need to think about things. And I think a lot of times people give you information, you get this just almost like a tsunami of information, but they don't tell you how to think about it. And I love the examples that he shares and how he connects different concepts. So I definitely appreciate it, and I feel super grateful to be a part of this group.
Hi, it's day 3 already of the 6-week cybersecurity job challenge. In today's training, I was able to get insight on how best I can craft my resume, customizing it to the specific job application that I want to apply for, showcasing my expertise in GRC, highlighting the summary of my CV to be concise and communicate my interest in GRC. I also learned about how to list out my professional experience in chronological order, as well as my technical skills and certifications. I also learned about how to prepare an HR Magnet LinkedIn profile and making sure that the content of my LinkedIn profile clearly aligns with that of my resume. What are you still waiting for? Sign up with ExamMind Cyber today to get trained as a cybersecurity professional while landing your 6-figure cybersecurity jobs. Thank you.
This is my comments regarding day number 3. We learned a tremendous amount of information about what we should do with our resumes and our LinkedIn profiles. I've never had anyone just come out and say some of the things. It's 100% just invaluable. I like the fact that he gave us the story behind it using some real life examples, biblical examples. It just made it just so much more clear to understand what we need to do, how we need to prepare ourselves, both in our resume and our social media profiles as well. I think the underlying message, even though he didn't say this, but this is just my thinking, is that we need to create those two things to be so significant and so impactful that when a recruiter or someone else is exposed to us and our information on our resume or LinkedIn profiles, that they want to meet us, they want to recruit us, they want us to work for them. And that's what he's having us to create. So I'm uber excited about all the other things that we're going to learn in the next couple of days. Thank you, and I'm excited about seeing everything come about and unfold on tomorrow.
Hi.
Hello. Good morning, everyone. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're joining us from. Welcome to today, day 2 of this challenge. I'm really happy to have you here. I hope we are excited to be here. Are you excited to be here today? If you're
Yes.
excited to be here, type it in the chat box.
Yes.
Okay, okay, awesome, amazing, amazing. First of all, let me take a moment to, congratulate those of you who attempted your tasks yesterday. I saw you. We've taken note of everyone who submitted their task yesterday. Well done, Jackie. I see you. Well done, Christopher, Michael, Mistura, Tom Ray. Well done, well done, well done. You're doing well. Ferdinand, well done. Zaki, I saw you, and Damilola, and a lot of other people that I cannot mention at the moment. Well done, guys. It's really amazing that you're taking this very, very seriously. I'm as excited as you are to have you here today, for day 2 of this challenge. So before we kickstart today's challenge, I would like to ask one person to unmute themselves, turn on your video and tell us, your experience from yesterday. Who would like to do that? Raise your hand if you'd like to, share your experience from yesterday and how you found yesterday's session. Okay, I see Agnes. Agnes, can you unmute your mic and tell us about your experience from yesterday?
Yeah, thank you. First of all, I would like to say thank you to Mr. Tolu. It's such an amazing section for me. I've actually been in cybersecurity. I've done a little cybersecurity in the past, but I thought I know something, but I was really wrong. So, and you can imagine that was the beginning. That was the beginning of the class. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, because I was everywhere. I did CAP, I jumped to CSSP, I was just everywhere. So I just want to say thank you to him. And I look forward seriously to what he has in stock for the rest of the 5 days. I mean, the 4 days.
Trust me, you're in for a great ride. By day 3, you will have so much information, even more than you anticipated before you joined this challenge. I can assure you of that. So quickly, before I bring Tolu on, let me quickly remind us about our rules. First of all, let me remind us that we do not permit the use of profanity either on the Facebook live chat or here in the Zoom chat. Please refrain from using profane words. Anything you don't want your 5-year-old to see or hear, do not use it. Secondly, let me say that at the end of every session, you receive a task, a daily task. Attempting those tasks is very important and is compulsory, especially if you're looking forward, if you're looking to, continue to work with Tolu after this challenge. You will have to attempt every one of those tasks. And thirdly, I want to say that please, we don't permit, sharing of contacts in the chat box or on Facebook live chat. We want to be accountable, for everything that's happening on this challenge. Please do not share your contacts and do not ask other people to share their contacts with you, right? And then finally, ensure that your microphones remain on mute. Remain muted till we get to the Q&A. You'll have the opportunity to ask questions at the end of the session. Please do not unmute your mic during the session so we have a very smooth learning experience. Thank you. Tolu, are you ready for us?
Yes, I am 100%. Okay. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I'm glad to see everyone here again, but I'm going to do something very like in just a few seconds, because Arinze, one of my team members, is coordinating, and he saw that other folks also raised up their hand, but Miriam, because of our time, omitted that. So I'm going to give Shotonye and Tai the opportunity to speak. I think you wanted to speak about your experience. It's always good for me to get feedback so that I know, okay, if we did well, or if not, then we know how to do better. That is why we always ask for feedback, when we finish a training. So I'm going to ask Shotonye and Tai. So Shotonye, can you unmute yourself and just tell us your experience yesterday? And then after you, I will go to Tai, and then we can start the training properly.
Yeah, thanks. Tolu, can you hear me?
Of course, 100%.
I can't thank you enough. and I mean that from the bottom of my heart because I've actually been in the pharmaceutical industry for about 15 years, let me say. So my love for cybersecurity started, because my son is into IT. So it kind of gave me an insight into how cybersecurity is. So I glossed over that, frankly, until I saw your advert. Then as soon as I saw your advert, something triggered in my memory. Oh no, I need to really be here, and my experience yesterday was nothing short of being impressive because I liken it all to a shepherd, guiding the sheep. Without the shepherd, you see a situation where the sheep can't really can't navigate properly. All right, you'll be lost. So what you gave us yesterday was really so important because it was as if you were talking to me, frankly, because I was reading a whole lot of things, not knowing I was dabbling into all the domains you pointed out to us yesterday. But the most important thing I got from the challenge yesterday was that you were able to tell us to narrow it down to just one. We don't need to know the 8. And to be very honest with you, in a lot of ways, I even made this comment in the Facebook yesterday. I liken it onto something similar to what I've been doing in the pharmaceutical industry, because it has a lot to do with compliance as well. How the pharmaceutical industry should comply with regulatory body like FDA and so on. I saw the ISO 270-005. It just blew my mind. Said this is more than impressive.
Nice.
I want to thank you especially for that.
Thank you. Thank you so much for those kind words. Thank you so much. And finally, I will give Ty the opportunity to speak as well. And Ty Balofin, you'll be the last person to speak about your experience this morning. How was your experience yesterday?
Thank you very much. Experience was a wonderful feeling. You packaged it nicely. Your presentation is awesome, and I believe everyone will learn one thing or two. My background as a professor of media studies and also a doctor of health administration, I see this as an opportunity to explore and take this learning to the highest level possible. My question is, one, participants from Nigeria and London, can they partake in this? That's number one. Number two, you indicated that you will assist in putting a resume together and you can get a job at the nick of time. And I know that looking at the ATS platforms of assessing resumes, what are you going to do about job experience, which is a very, very important factor in resume for job purposes? And also, we want to explore a little bit more on the IPA job opportunity.
Thank you.
We've actually written a lot of books in health sector, and I want to see how I can reconcile this in the nearest future.
Thank you. So, thank you. So, because I gave you the opportunity to talk, I will address one question, because right now we're not addressing question. We have our Facebook audience here. So, first thing first, if you're in Nigeria, don't attempt to do this program. I don't even accept Nigerian folks. It's simple. Number one, you don't have, especially if you don't have work authorization in the US or Canada, there's no need, because what I'm teaching is particularly applicable to those in the US, UK, and Canada. If you're in Nigeria, don't attempt it. And for the resume, we'll talk more about that tomorrow. And also on Friday, and when I talk about the offer, you hear more about the resume and the impact that we talk about. You guys, I don't know if you guys know, I've written 5 books as well on cybersecurity. So we have ways to handle that. So you hear more about that tomorrow, all right? Especially about the resume and every other thing that you want to know, especially about the program, you hear more about that on Friday. Now, let me say this very clearly. Thank you so much, Ty. Let me say this to everyone here. Please, if you know anyone that has been a part of our program before, and before I go further, for those that were not opportune to ask their question yesterday, we got the question. I will address them first before we go into other questions right after the training. But let me quickly say this. I don't want to waste time. For those of you that have friends that were part of this program and they've given you the payment details, and then you, just because you want to be a part of the 10 that I'll be working with, you want to pay, please don't do that. Someone paid yesterday, and I told my team to refund the person. Number one, you've disqualified yourself. Well, and I also sent a message to your friend that referred you. That your friend, I know he's gotten his jobs already. He was part of those that I worked with in the last cohort, and he was the one that gave you the account. You said so, and he confirmed. So you're here, you can understand. I'm not going to mention your name so as not to embarrass you, but you have disqualified yourself. I've told the team to refund you. I will not work with you. It is simple. We have 100% success rate, and we don't work with everybody. We have criteria. There are things we use to qualify those that I work with closely, and doing what I said we should do, and abiding by the tenet of what we do is very, very important. I'll give you guys one example that led to this. There was years ago, I used to help people to do interview. I'm not proud of it, but it's something that I've done to help people in our community. I used to help people to do interview. And I remember I told the guy, please, after this interview, you know, he's my friend. And I've done that for a lot of my friends and other people, even in church. Like, when I finish this interview, please, as soon as you start the job, because I know you will get the job, as soon as you start the job, please don't show your face for the first 3 months. I did the interview. The first day of having Zoom meeting, the guy showed his face. And they're like, this is not the face of the person that did the interview. The person didn't have beard, and you have beards all over the place. And they had to let the guy go. So then, when we started our program is factored after Harvard and Yale and how they structure, you know, in terms of excelling and getting results for the alumni. So we pretty much give credence to doing whatever we want to do, and our students, you know, abiding by that. Now, to quickly announce on what I said before, you'll be getting application tomorrow. Tomorrow is the 3rd day. You'll be getting application, and like I said, we'll be working with 10 people. However, my team already suggested yesterday we might push up the number of people that I'll be working with to about 15 because of the number of people that have indicated. And some were asking yesterday about the price. We're not doing that yet. And please don't send any money. If you do, maybe you have a friend that has been here and gave you the account. If you send, you've disqualified yourself, just like that young man. And platinum session, guys, yesterday, you guys surprised me with the thoughtful and brilliant questions you were asking. I am glad that you guys were here. That's the point. You were on ground. And I thank you for those thoughtful questions. Now, without a doubt, I know that you guys gain from that. Now, I'm going to share my screen and we're going to start. Now, I'm sharing my screen now. This is day 2. And just by typing yes in the chat box, if you're excited about what you're about to learn today, please just type yes. Just type yes in the chat box, because for me, I'm excited. I see those yeses. Thank you. Emmanuel didn't wait at all. I see Samuel, Odi, Kemi. Yeah, I see that. Thank you. Thank you. Saeed, I see that. Thank you. Thank you, guys. I'm excited about what we want to do today. Don't forget, the purpose for this challenge, 5 days challenge, is how do you get to become someone who is getting multiple cybersecurity jobs in 90 days. Yesterday, without wasting our time, we've looked at what is the domain that you should focus on. What are the things that you should start doing? And remember, I told you that coming to this training, this challenge, 2 things that you must know: what you should start doing and what you should stop doing. We already know what we have to stop doing. Now, what do we have to start doing? Now, okay, Tolu, you told me I should do security and risk management. I should focus on GRC. I shouldn't focus on all other domains that I'm not going to work with. Okay, what do I do? That is what we'll be looking at this morning: learning the right fundamentals. This is the day 2, and it is very essential that you learn the right fundamentals, because it will help you to build a strong foundational knowledge, all right? And the skills that is crucial to excel in this field. Now, these are important. I have 4 reasons why I believe this is important, why learning the right fundamentals, even in any field, is important. Number 1 is strong foundation. Fundamentals serve as building blocks upon which advanced knowledge and skills are developed. By understanding the core concept, principles, and techniques, you establish a strong foundation for further learning. Remember yesterday, I was telling you guys about principles, processes, tools. Principles, processes, and tools. So it is very important that you understand the foundational knowledge and the foundational principles of anything you want to do at all. Number 2 is comprehensive understanding. That is why learning fundamental is very important. It provides a holistic understanding of the subject matter that you are looking at. They help you grasp the underlying principles and the big picture of how different components and processes work together. Once you understand the concept, once you understand the foundation, to build on it becomes a lot more easier. Adaptability as well. You are able to adapt in any area where you find yourself, because you've been equipped with the ability to adapt and apply the foundational knowledge that you have in various contexts. Okay? And technologies and methodologies in cybersecurity are constantly evolving. However, the processes, the concept remain the same. Okay? Technologies are changing. We didn't have AI before, now we have AI, which is why cybersecurity is even becoming a lot more in demand because of new technologies, because of AI, because of machine learning, and everything the way we've been living is changing. All right. So one of my mentors, Kunle Shorian, was talking about in 7 years how the things you used to know and the things you used to do will no longer be the same. And in 30 years, life as we know it will no longer be the same, which is why cybersecurity will always be in demand. And the last one is problem solving. Fundamentals, they enhance your problem solving skills, because by understanding the fundamental principles, you develop the ability to analyze complex issues. No matter how complex they are, the ability for you to break down complex issues is something that helps you grasp understanding of the entire subject, irrespective of how complex or how complicated they may be. And what helps you to do that is learning the fundamentals. So learning the fundamentals is key, like it's non-negotiable. Now, on the other hand, wasting time learning unnecessary things can be detrimental for several reasons. So, guys, again, I'm going to repeat. I talked about 3 things that will qualify you for me to work with you. 3 things: your conduct, the challenge task that you do, and the psychometric test, which is the most important. And someone just did kind of highlighted on the screen. Arinze, if it's something that you can do, please help me clean it off. Please, let's not do that, please. Sorry, before I lose my line of thought. Now, on the other hand, wasting time learning things that we do not need, as we have established yesterday, why are they detrimental? There are 4 reasons that I've also highlighted here. Number 1, limited time and resources. My goal is for anyone to get into cybersecurity in 90 days. We used to do 45 days, but because our students are saying, Tolu, you are rushing us. Tolu, this is a lot. People tell me about, I have a job, I'm a nurse, I have kids and all that. Okay, and we have someone that has got a job in 39 days, like I said, that is my fastest student ever, 39 days. And I said, okay, let's do 90 days then. And everyone said, hey, yeah, let's do 90 days. And that was how we pivot from 45 days to 90 days. All right. So if people have been getting job in 45 days, how can you not get it in 90 days? Anyway, if we want to get job in 90 days, then we have limited time. We can't waste time. So if you are learning things that are unnecessary, things that you will not use, you're wasting time and resources. Number 2, diluted focus. There's no focus on what you want to do because your focus is diluted. Number 3, outdated or irrelevant knowledge. Like I said, when I started, I was learning Wireshark. I never for one day in my life used Wireshark for work. Never. And I was paying attention. I was learning Wireshark, doing everything, and I never used it. Outdated or irrelevant knowledge. Things that you don't need. And lastly, lost opportunities. By focusing on unnecessary topics, you miss out on valuable opportunities to develop expertise in high demand areas. So that is why learning the right fundamental, again, not just the fundamentals, the right one is very important. And that is what we want to do today. Now, what are the fundamentals that you have to familiarize yourself with? It is not everything, okay? Let me put this out here. When you get your job, it is highly unlikely that you're going to get a job, that you're going to find a company that does everything we'll be looking at today. However, you can choose to focus on 3, you can choose to focus on all of them, you can choose to focus on 2, depending on your what you want to do. Okay? Now, familiarize yourself with risk management frameworks like NIST, ISO 27001, and COBIT. Now, NIST is National Institute of Standard and Technology, and they provide a framework for managing and reducing cybersecurity risk called the NIST Cybersecurity Framework. NIST provides a framework, it's called NIST Cybersecurity Framework, and it is used to reduce cybersecurity risk. This framework is built around 5 core components, the 5 of them, which are often referred to as the functions. That's what they call them, the functions. These components provide a structured approach for organizations to assess, improve, and communicate their cybersecurity posture. And we're going to be looking at the 5 frameworks, which is popularly called functions. Number 1 is identify. So the identify function, we're looking at the 5 functions of NIST. The identify is the foundational step in understanding an organization's cybersecurity posture. It's like, if you don't know, how do you protect? Like what you do not know, how do you want to protect what you do not know? There is something called unknown unknown. Things that I didn't know and that I didn't know that I didn't know. And there is known unknown. It means that I know that there is something like this, but I don't know how to do it, or I don't know how it works. It means that I know that I didn't know. Now, how do you know that, okay, this thing exists, But how do we take care of it? That is the identify phase. It involves identifying and documenting critical assets, systems, data, and business processes. This function is about knowing what needs to be protected and understanding the potential cybersecurity risk. Now, organizations under this component typically perform activities such as risk asset management, business environment analysis, governance, risk assessment, and then creating an inventory of assets. As a matter of fact, the last one, creating an inventory of assets, we just did that in my job not too long ago, where we're trying to get inventory of all our physical assets, everything. Also, we did both hardware and software. Hardware is basically things that you can hold, you know, your laptop, all these things that you can hold. These are hardware, okay? And then I believe we all know what software is, right? So having inventory of everything that you have helps you to understand how to protect them. Let's say, for instance, as a father in the house, you have 5 kids, and then someone said that something is happening tomorrow in the neighborhood, and we have to protect our children. And then as a father or as a mother, and then you're asking, how many kids do we even have? Because you're going to the store, you're going to Walmart to buy some protecting gears. Now, if you don't know that you have 5 kids, how do you make provisions to protect 5 kids? Here, the identify phase is what takes care of that. You need to know, okay? Number 2 is protect. That's the second function. The protect function focuses on implementing safeguards to protect critical assets and data identified in the identify phase. It involves developing and implementing security controls, policies, procedures, and measures to prevent or mitigate cybersecurity threats. Now, this protect phase, when you look at other domains of cybersecurity, like security engineering, software security and development lifecycle, or when you see the SOC domain, which is the SOC Security Operations Center, those domains fall under this protect. However, as a GRC person, as someone who is in the security and risk management, it is something that you need to understand, because as a governance, risk, and compliance expert, you are like overseeing, you're looking at all of them. Are they doing what they're supposed to do? And you need to know that protect phase is part of their duty, right? You as a GRC expert, it's not your job to actively protect, but it is your job to monitor the policies, the procedures, the documentation that you have that says that we must protect these so things and these assets, okay? Now, key activities within this component include access control. Guys, remember yesterday we were talking about identity and access management, and if you remember, I told you they are the ones in charge of providing you credentials to have access to the things you have access to. So key activities under this protect is also access control, data security, awareness training. Now, this awareness training falls under GRC, under GRC domain. So if you're a GRC professional or GRC expert, when you get your job, awareness training might be one of the things that you'll be doing with your team, okay? And again, something that you guys need to understand, when you get a job, you won't be working a silo. Like, you won't be working just all on your own. You'll be working with a team on anything you want to do at all. So it does not matter either you know how to do them before or not, all right? So awareness training is also part of the protect phase. Secure configuration, this is done by the engineers, and protective technologies like firewalls and encryption These are also done by the engineers. Now, the third phase is detect. We've looked at identify, we've looked at protect, and the third one is detect. The detect function involves continuously monitoring systems and networks for signs of cybersecurity incident. If you guys also remember yesterday, we were looking at Security Operations Center, and I explained to you about SOC analyst or SOC engineer, that they monitored the company's infrastructure through a tool called SIEM, right? Where they look at, okay, we were not here on Sunday. Somebody had access to our database on Sunday. That phase is the detection phase. They are the ones that detect that, okay, something is going on here. Okay, this component aims to identify incident promptly so that they can be addressed in a timely manner, minimizing potential damage. And activities within this function include continuous monitoring, intrusion detection, security event and incident management, that is SIEM, and then anomaly detection. And the fourth one is respond. This is very simple. I believe you guys are following this. When you identify, you protect. After protect, what do? You detect. After you detect that, okay, something is wrong, the next thing is you respond to it. You know, remember I used our kids in, when I was using the identify phase. So let's say, okay, they said, okay, something is going on in the neighborhood tomorrow. There's maybe eclipse, and the eclipse is dangerous, so we need to protect our kids. Okay, the identify phase, I know I've got 5 kids. Can I go to the store, get 5 protecting gear, put them on my kids? That's a protection phase. I protect them. Then the eclipse happened. Then I see that, okay, one of my kids suddenly develops maybe fever or something, but something happened, and I see that. That is the detection phase. Like, okay, maybe you didn't protect yourself enough. That's the detection phase, because now I can see that something is going on. Now, what do? I need to respond. That is the response phase. And don't forget, we're still looking at NIST cybersecurity framework, okay? When a cybersecurity incident occurs, the response function provides guidance on how to respond effectively. It includes activities to contain and mitigate the impact of the incident, coordinate response efforts, and communicate with stakeholders. Let me ask you guys something. Yesterday, I think I saw a tweet yesterday about healthcare. This insurance company, United Healthcare, they've been breached, all right? And there's data leak. Now, how they respond to that, it's all in this response phase. And this NIST is the one that provides the framework on how to do that. How do you communicate with stakeholders that, hey guys, we've been breached? Don't worry, your data is safe. We're still working to identify the extent of the damage. We'll notify you as much or as soon as we know more. You know, that is usually how they respond or how they email stakeholders. Now, another thing is the engineers in United Healthcare, how do they respond to these things? There are documents, okay, that the company already has that highlight what they have to do in case of an incident, okay? And all this documentation, you will not be the one to write them, but you have to manage them. You have to maintain them, okay? And when I mean you, I mean the team that you work with. It's going to be your job. It could be business continuity team. It could be incident response team. That is why I said, as a GRC expert, you have opportunity to work in diverse fields. So it's your job to guide the team, like guide other teams on how to follow the documentation that, hey guys, okay, we've been breached. The first thing in the document is we need to notify stakeholders. And then your communications department, whatever they call them, either legal or communication or whatever department, they write email. And then the next thing is, okay, the engineers, we need to look at the extent of the damage and do some forensics. And then you let the engineers know, okay, this is what you have to do. And then those ones, they kick in, you know, to do whatever they have to do. So that is the response phase of NIST. Okay. This response activity encompass incident response planning, like how do we respond, the planning of those response coordination, communication strategies, and recovery planning. You see, when breach happens, because it happens a lot, that is why cybersecurity will always be needed every day. United Healthcare, we got to see that yesterday. When breach like that happens, you don't just see email. They don't send email anyhow. There are strategies. There's a communication strategy. And all that is under incident response. Okay? So it is under this response phase. All right? And the last one is recover. So we have responded. So at this point, we've responded to what happened. Now let's recover. And what does that mean? The recover function focuses on restoring the organizational system and services to normal operation after a cybersecurity incident. Like what happened to United Healthcare, now they need to recover if their services have been tampered with so that they can resume normal business activities. Okay. Now it includes activities to ensure business continuity and resilience. Like, okay, how do we continue our operation? We're not going to say, well, because we've been breached, then we have to stop addressing customers, or we have to stop selling things, or we have to stop servicing our customers. No. So the phase that deals with that is the recover phase. It includes activities to ensure business continuity and resilience, assess the incident impact. You want to know what is the impact of this incident, right? And then implement improvement based on lessons learned. In every breach, there's always a lesson. And companies, we have this mantra: don't ever say there won't be breach. Don't ever say there won't be breach, because you cannot be 100% secure. It's good for cybersecurity folks. That is why we're needed. You will never be 100% secure from being breached. So if that happens, how do we recover and continue our normal activities? That is in the recover phase. Okay. And these activities include business continuity planning, system recovery, conducting post-incident reviews to identify areas for improvement. Now, we've looked at identify, we've looked at protect, we've looked at detect, we've looked at respond, and we've also looked at recover. Now, these 5 components of NIST cybersecurity framework are designed to be iterative and work together to create a comprehensive and adaptive cybersecurity strategies. Organizations can use this framework to assess their current cybersecurity posture, set goals, and develop a roadmap for improving their security measures. And the next one is ISO 27001. It's an international standard for information security management system, okay? And it provides a systematic approach for managing and protecting sensitive information within an organization. You see, all these frameworks that we're looking at, these are existing documentation that will help you to do your job. So as a GRC expert, wherever you find yourself, either in risk management, either in data management, either in vendor risk management, either in IT audit or policy compliance, wherever you find yourself, there are existing documentation that would help you to do your job. And your job, the job of any GRC expert, is following documentation to ensure that companies do what they are supposed to do. In one of my books, I wrote the GRC checklist. I think I have one of them here. I think maybe GRC Chronicles or Beyond Checkboxes. Yeah, that's the book, Beyond Checkboxes. I was trying to correct all GRC professionals worldwide. Like, don't just focus on just checking boxes. Okay, do you have firewall? Yes, because that's basically what we do. But there is more to that. And that is why we're getting paid a lot, right? Now, certification, because you can't get a job in a company and they have to be ISO 27001 certified, okay? Now, organizations can seek ISO 27001 certification by demonstrating compliance with the standard requirement through an audit process conducted by accredited certification bodies. What does that mean? Let me quickly tell you what it means. Let's say, for instance, let me look at a name. Let's say Pearl. Pearl has a company, and Pearl's company has to be ISO 27001 certified, right? And Mistura works with Pearl. Mistura works in Pearl's GRC team. It is their duty to ensure that as a company, we are ISO 27001 certified. How do you do that? You write an audit company. There are audit companies that are certified. They come to your company, just like you have auditors for the accounting practice. They come to your company and they look at your processes. How do you secure data for your employees? How do you secure the data of your customers? How do you communicate? How do you have access to the company's data? Are your laptop, do you have VPN on your laptop? These are the things that they take a look at. And your team is the one that will work with this audit team. Just like the way when you have audits, financial audit, it is the accountant that will work with the external auditors. So if your company wants to be ISO certified, you also will have to work with them and they will audit your processes. You know, in accounting, what they audit is their book. They look at their maybe cash flow, whatever. I don't know what that thing is, what they do, but they audit their system. They audit their accounting thing. But for us in GRC, what they look at are the processes. Now, the processes are identified in the policies and procedures of every organization. Okay. Now, the key focus area on of ISO 27 focuses on establishing a risk-based approach to information security, defining policies and procedures, conducting risk assessment, and continually monitoring and improving the information security management system. So it is basically on policies and procedures. And like I said, again, guys, listen to this. When you get a job, it is not your duty to write policy. You will never get a job today and your company will ask you, hey, Tai, or let me use Shotonye, you get a job today as a GRC consultant with a company, and a week after, they're asking you, Shotonye, can you join we have about 5-member team that are writing security policies for our data retention. Can you please join them to write the policy? That will never happen. There are consultants that companies hire to do that. And the reason why you will not do that is they do not trust the fact that you're just coming on board and you want to start writing policies. So there are existing policies that when you get a job, you are working with, okay? Now, global applicability, it is recognized worldwide, making it valuable for a valuable standard for organizations looking to implement structured information security management system. COBIT is another one that you have to learn the fundamentals. control objectives for information and related technologies. Guys, remember I said, you don't have to learn all these fundamentals because it is highly unlikely that you will get a job in any company that you need to know all these things. Some companies, the only thing you have to know is HIPAA, okay? Some companies, what they focus on is HIPAA, especially if they are health company. For instance, I used to work in a company called Nomad Health. I was a senior cloud security engineer then. The only regulatory thing that we worked on was HIPAA, right? So, but it is important that you know the fundamentals of this compliance so that you can speak about them, all right? That is why I am giving you this information. Mind you, I will never give you things that are unnecessary to just load you up on unnecessary information, never. Now, what is the purpose of COBIT? COBIT is a framework that is developed by ISACA. Guys, remember yesterday, I was showing you ISACA yesterday. It is for governing and managing enterprise IT process and information. Like, how do we manage and how do we govern? That is what ISACA did COBIT for. And the key area of focus is it provides a set of principles, practices, and control objectives for aligning with IT business goals, ensuring effective IT governance, and managing IT-related risk. What does that mean? Now, for us, as people in IT, as people in cybersecurity, what we are concerned about is the security of the company. We do not care about business goals and objectives and all that. Now, what COBIT has done is to bridge that gap and saying that, okay, hey guys, we know you guys are GRC team. We know all you focus on is to ensure that we're secure. However, in working that we're secure, you need to know that we need to make money. We need to stay in business. We need to continue to serve our customers. So how do we do that? Now, the processes, the principles, and the control objectives to be able to do that were developed by ISACA, and that development is called COBIT. Okay. Now, COBIT is often used by organizations to improve governance, align IT processes with business needs. What is number one business need? Profit, business continuity, and enhance IT-related decision-making. What does that mean? When you guys get your job, you will notice that when you have your team meetings, especially either you find yourself in a risk management team, let's say you guys are 5 or 6 man team, and all of you guys are risk analyst expert or GRC expert. Anytime you're having your team meeting and you're having conversation, none of you would ever mention how the company is making profit, because that's none of my business. My business is to ensure that the company is secure. However, to ensure that in making our decision is not impacting on the business needs of the company, which is to make profit, that is where COBIT comes in. So that is where they use these cases. However, for me, in my experience, I have never worked in any company that use COBIT. Does that mean companies don't use it? They do. You can find yourself in any company that they use COBIT. Now you're learning about it, so you know about it. And lastly, complementary to other standards, COBIT can be used in conjunction with other standards and frameworks such as ISO to create a comprehensive governance and management system for IT. The next one we're looking at is HIPAA. You need to learn about regulatory compliance requirements. We have looked at framework, guys. We have looked at frameworks. I believe we looked at 3 frameworks, if you guys remember. We looked at NIST, we looked at ISO, and we looked at COBIT. What are the compliance requirements that we need to look at, that you have to learn the fundamentals? Now, let me say this, guys. Yesterday, we looked at the highest fine that any company had paid and we're seeing 300 something million pounds, all those million pounds that this company had paid. Why? Because they failed regulatory requirements. So as a GRC expert, if you're working in any company, it is your number one duty to ensure that your company does not fail this regulatory requirement. And in order to do that, again, remember I've been saying it since yesterday, guys, there are documents that your companies already, they have these documents. It is all just your job to ensure that you follow these documents. And I will tell you why. Security engineers don't care about all these things. Software engineers, they don't care about all these things. Legal people, they don't care about all these things. Communications guys, they don't care about these things. It is the job of the GRC team to ensure that you do what you're supposed to do as a company so that you do not fail requirements. And instead of companies to pay millions of dollars for fine, they hired GRC experts to help them to ensure that they stay compliant. And one of those requirements for, especially, you remember I told you about the company I worked with before, Nomad, is HIPAA. When I was working with Nomad Health, because I didn't work there as a GRC expert, I worked there as a senior cloud security engineer. And one of the things that I worked with then, one of the tasks that I did was anonymization. What does that mean? Let's say, for instance, Pearl comes to, let me use myself as an example. Pearl has a hospital, or Pearl is a CEO of a hospital, and I go to the hospital for checkup, and they see that, okay, maybe I have high blood pressure, diabetes, sugar level, whatever they call that thing, cholesterol, everything. I would not want that to go out. I would not want people to know. So it is the duty of Pearl's hospital, the company, to ensure that when people see that data outside, they do not know that I am the one. They cannot recognize me to be the one. That is called anonymization. You guys know the meaning of anonymity. Anonymous is as simple as that. Like, they must not know that this person is this person that has this PHI. It's called Patient Health Information, PHI. Now, let's continue, guys. I've taken time to explain. Now, HIPAA is a US regulation that protects the privacy and security of individuals' healthcare information. It applies to healthcare providers, health plans, and healthcare clearinghouses, as well as their business associates. That means that you, as a GRC expert, if you know HIPAA, you can work in insurance companies, Blue Cross Blue Shield, United Healthcare, PP, all those healthcare insurance companies, like healthcare providers, you can work anywhere. Now, HIPAA is a United States law that was enacted in 1996 to protect and secure the privacy and confidentiality of patient health information. That is PHI, patient health information. It establishes national standard for electronic healthcare transaction and addresses the security and privacy of health data. If you go to the hospital, you will discover that there's a way they have their system. I think some use what's this work that some Nigerians do at time? I can't remember. There's a tool they use, right? There's a tool they use. If you guys remember, you can type it in the chat box. There's a tool they use. You know, these healthcare people, there's a tool they use that it's just help them to securely transfer data. Say, for instance, I'm in Chicago and I go to Dallas or I go to New York and I want to visit a hospital. That hospital can have my data in Chicago, and it's going to be securely transferred to them. Okay, that is the healthcare transaction and address the security and privacy of health data. Applicability of HIPAA applies to covered entities, which include healthcare providers, health plans, and healthcare clearinghouses. It also applies to business associates or any person or entity that performs certain functions or activities that involve the use of disclosure of protected health information. Protected health information. All right, let's move forward. Now, what are the key requirements of HIPAA? I have 5 here. What are the key requirements? Number 1, privacy rule requirement, which means that you have to protect the privacy of individually identifiable health information. Number 2 is security rule requirement. What does that mean? This sets standard for the security of electronic PHI. Number 3 is transaction and code set rule. Transaction and code set rule. Like I said, you don't have to write now. Don't worry. You're going to have access to this for 24 hours. So you can go back again and take notes. Okay. Number 4 is identifiers rule requirement. Standardize the use of unique identifiers for healthcare providers, health plans, and employers. How do they meet this requirement? They have to obtain and use national provider identifier and ensure its proper use in transaction. Enforcement rule requirement. This outlines the investigation, penalties, and procedures for hearings for HIPAA violations. So if you want to, for our nurses in the house, these are things that you have to know. Okay? These are things that you have to know. The reason is because when you get your job as GRC expert or HIPAA compliance expert, you need to know these key requirements so that you can guide your company. Again, you won't be the only one working there as HIPAA expert, but it is good for you to know, and then you can contribute to the team that you're working with. So these are the fundamentals that you have to know. Every other thing is an addendum, it's an addition. PSS, PCI DSS. I believe you guys have heard about this before. PCI DSS. PCI DSS is a global standard. Again, listen to that. It's a global standard, okay, for securing credit card and payment card data. It is essential for organizations that handle card holder information, such as retailers and payment processors. Amazon must be PCI DSS compliant. If not, they'll pay billions of dollars in fine. If you know the number of GRC experts that works with Amazon, you'll be shocked. Netflix. All these companies that you use your credit card to do something with them, they must. So I'm going to ask in the chat box. I want you guys to give me number, like type any companies that you know that they have to be compliant with PCI DSS. eBay, thank you, Saeed. Very good example. eBay, yes. AliExpress, 100%. They have to be. Visa, MasterCard. Okay, so Emmanuel, Visa, MasterCard, they are the one that even come together to build this PCI DSS. Okay, Walmart, of course. Shein, yes. Temu, of course. See, all these companies and a lot of other companies that you do not know, they must be PCI DSS. Target, Jumia, of course. Somebody's too close to Nigeria and India. Jumia, yes, of course. I don't know, maybe Jumia is everywhere, but I used to think they're just in Nigeria and India. Costco, 100%. Yes, Agnes, anywhere your credit card is used, they must. Like, it is non-negotiable, guys. They do not negotiate it. They must be compliant with PCI DSS. Now, definition, PCI DSS is a set of security standards designed to ensure that all companies that accept, guys, listen to this, all companies that accept, they process, they store, or transmit credit card information. They have to maintain a secure environment. It was developed to protect credit card data and reduce credit card fraud. Okay, that is why it was developed. Now, the applicability is that PCI DSS applies to any organization, regardless of size or number of transactions, that accept, transmit, or store any credit card data. I remember I worked with a retail company, a startup. We were company-wide, like the entire company were less than 250. And I remember I was the only Black in the entire company, not just African, no, the only Black. Do you know that this company had to be compliant with PCI DSS? So it does not matter your size, it does not matter, as long as you accept, you transmit, you store, or you process credit card, you must be in compliance with PCI DSS. Now, what are these compliance? As a PCI DSS expert or as a GRC expert, if your company hired you to work with the team that will ensure that they are in compliance with PCI DSS, what are the things that you have to know? What are the key requirements? Let us look at them. There are 12 of them. These are the 12 requirements that they have to meet to be in compliance with PCI DSS. 12 of them. Install and maintain firewall configuration to protect credit card data. Number 2, do not use vendor supply default for system password and other security parameters. What does that mean? Let's say Emmanuel has a company that accepts, transmits, and store credit card data, and Pearl does computer supplies. When Emmanuel's team, your engineering team, when they take possession of all those laptops from Pearl's company, they must change the password. They cannot use default password. So now Pearl has supplied you Emmanuel's LLC. Now Emmanuel has a GRC team. One of the things that the GRC team will be looking out for is that, okay, they will ask the engineers, because we accept and store credit card data, do you guys change vendor's password, default password? If they say, yes, we do, the GRC team will tell them, okay, please give us evidence that you do it. That's the job of the GRC expert. It is your job to ensure that these are the things we have to do. Let's ensure that we do them. Now, who are the people that have to do these things? What team? Like, okay, let's say, for instance, this particular example that I cited, in Emmanuel's company, it might be the engineering team that are doing it. In Ty's company, it might be the DevOps team that are in charge of that. So it is your job to now identify which team is assigned to do this particular assignment. Okay, hey guys, this is part of the things you have to do. Please let me know if you do them. If they say, yes, we do them, please send me the evidence. That is it. So that by the time you start your PCI DSS audit, you have your team, as GRC team, you guys have evidence to show the PCI auditor that, hey guys, these are the evidence that shows that we do all these things. And they will be able to give you ROC. It is called Report on Compliance, ROC. That ROC is a report on compliance that they give to PCI DSS company to show that, okay, these guys, they have passed their PCI DSS audits, okay? Number 3 is that they must protect stored cardholder data. What does that mean? Your database. You have to protect the data. Like for me, I'm buying something in Emmanuel's company, and Emmanuel's company has a database that stored all my data, my credit card number, the CVV, the date, expiry date. Your company has to encrypt that data so that all your employees do not have access to my credit card, because if they do, you don't know employees that are disgruntled, they can spend my card. So that is one of the things that PCI DSS says, that you must protect stored cardholder data. So you as a GRC expert, if your company is not doing that and they fine your company millions of dollars, it's your fault, because you didn't ensure that they do it. They also have to encrypt transmission of card holder data, protect all systems against malware, and regularly update antivirus software. Like all the laptops that you use in your company, they must have antivirus software. You have to protect them against malware. Develop and maintain secure systems and application. Remember yesterday when we were talking about domain, one of the ones we talked about was software development security. Here is where it comes in. The other one is restrict access to cardholder data by business need to know. That is the job of the identity and access management expert. They will restrict your access. For instance, if I work in Emmanuel's company as a GRC expert, I don't need to have access to cardholder data. That database that stores those credit card data, as a GRC expert, I don't need access to it. If I have access to it, that means Emmanuel's engineering team, they are not restricting access. And the GRC team must know that why are you guys not restricting access? You have to do it. The next one is identify and authenticate access to system component. Before anybody have access to any component of your system, you have to authenticate. Restrict physical access to cardholder data. Track and monitor access to network resources and cardholder data. That is where we have SIEM. That is the monitoring that I was telling you guys about. Regularly test security system and processes. And final one is maintain a policy that addresses information security for all personnel. That is the job of a GRC person, to maintain that policy. So if you ever get a job, or if you're looking for a job, and part of your job requirement is to understand PCI DSS, these are the 12 things that you need to know. The next one is GDPR. Guys, I know we've gone past 11. Please don't be angry. We have taken the time when we started, and I want to ensure that I steal nobody's time. I have to give you what you paid for, okay? GDPR is General Data Protection Regulation. It's a European Union regulation that safeguards the personal data of EU residents. It imposes strict data protection and privacy requirements on organizations worldwide that process EU citizens' data. Let me ask you guys on the chat box. Can you tell me any company that you know? You can type in the chat box that you know that they process EU citizens' data. Any company that you know. Emmanuel is so sharp. Amazon, 100%, yes. Any other person? Zara, eBay, yes. So Netflix, yes. Yesterday, guys, Facebook, yes. I was going to say that, Saeed. Airlines, IKEA, yes. As long as your companies have processed European Union citizens' data, you have no choice. You must be in compliance with GDPR. If not, you're going to be fined millions of pounds. Now, again, it's a regulation in EU law on data protection and privacy in the European Union and the European Economic Area. It also addresses the transfer of personal data outside the EU and EEA. GDPR aims to give individuals control over their personal data and to simplify the regulatory environment for international business. Applicability, where is it applicable? GDPR applies to all organizations operating within the EU, as well as organizations outside the EU that offer goods or services to or monitor the behavior of individuals in the EU. So it does not matter either you are in Europe or not. For instance, at Excelmind Cyber, if we have data of citizens in the EU, even though we are in the US, we have to be compliant with GDPR. It does not matter either you are there in any of the countries of the European Union, or you are in US, or you are in Canada. As long as you manage their data or you monitor their data, you must be in compliance with GDPR. Now, there are key requirements, and then how to meet them, I put them here. Requirement number 1 is lawfulness and fairness and transparency. Lawfulness, fairness, and transparency. What's the purpose of that? Limitation. Data must be collected for specified, explicit, and legitimate purpose, and not further processed in a manner that is incompatible with those purposes. When you get data from any European Union citizen, the reason why you collected that data must be the only thing you use the data for. If you do otherwise, you get fined. Data minimization requirement. Accuracy requirement. Personal data must be accurate and kept up to date. Storage limitation requirement. Personal data should be kept in a form that permits identification of data subject for no longer than is necessary. What does that mean? For instance, some European citizens will tell you, you cannot store my data for more than 5 years. You as a company, if you store it more than 5 years, you'll be fined. So it is the function of the GRC team to be like a watchdog, helping the company to ensure that they are not fined unnecessarily. That is why companies would rather have like 15 GRC experts that they pay. Maybe they pay you $120,000 a year. If they have 15 of you, they'll pay you like let's just say $1.5 million a year. They rather do that than have fine of $10, $15, $20 million. That is why, companies will not do something that is not good for them. The reason why they look for GRC people is because it is good for them. It serves their purpose. Storage limitation, we've talked about that. Integrity and confidentiality. And the last requirement is accountability. The data controller is responsible for and must be able to demonstrate compliance with the other GDPR principles. Another one that you guys need to know is SOC, Security Organization Control. I know you guys might be looking at me like, Tolu, this is overwhelming. This is a lot. I understand. But like I said, you don't have to know everything, okay? You don't have to know everything. It is highly unlikely for you to find, guys, I've been repeating it. It is highly unlikely for you to find a company that you will need to know all these things. Let's say, for instance, Amazon. If you work with Amazon, you will need to know PCI DSS. You might need to know SOC. I don't even think Amazon does SOC as well. But do you think Amazon has anything to do with HIPAA? No. Amazon is not a health company. They don't care about HIPAA. Do you think Amazon will probably use Hobbit? Maybe, maybe not. So don't be overwhelmed. The purpose of this training, of this challenge, is to give you what you need, and not just to overload you with unnecessary information that will confuse you. No. So I don't want you to be overwhelmed. All these requirements that I'm giving to you, this regulatory compliance, I want you to know them. Okay? You don't have to, again, you don't have to know everything like in total, like deeply. For instance, I might choose that maybe as a nurse, I want to focus a lot more on HIPAA and maybe PCI DSS. Or maybe as with my background, maybe I'm a truck driver. The only thing I do is drive truck. And I see that, okay, I think I like PCI DSS and SOC too. I can focus deeply on that. Okay, so the reason why I'm doing this is I don't want to leave anything untouched for you guys. Okay. SOC 2 is an auditing standard that assesses the security, availability, processing integrity, and confidentiality and privacy of customer data at service organizations, particularly in the technology and cloud service industry. Guys, we're almost done. Don't worry. It's applicable to technology and cloud computing organizations that store customer data. And I'm going to ask you guys a question now. This standard is particularly relevant to SaaS providers, cloud computing vendors, SaaS providers. SaaS simply means software as a service. For instance, let's say Emmanuel developed a software that helps companies to manage their accounting system. That is SaaS. So Emmanuel's company has to be in compliance with SOC 2. For instance, AWS is a cloud computing solution provider. That means they have to be in compliance with this because they store data in their cloud. Okay. And there are key requirements as well. Number one is their security requirement. Number two is the availability requirement. Number three, processing integrity requirement. Number four, confidentiality requirement. Number five, privacy requirement. Why am I showing you guys all these requirements as well? So that when you start working, these companies, they already have all these policies already, but you can take a look at them and see, are we meeting this requirement? And now you know that to meet SOC 2, there's security requirement, there's availability, there's processing integrity, there's confidentiality, and there's privacy requirement. And the last one we're going to be looking at is CIS control. CIS controls are a set of cybersecurity best practices that are designed to help organizations improve their security posture. As of today, we have 18 CIS controls, 18. It used to be 21, but it has recently been modified. Now we have 18 CIS controls. And these controls cover every domain of cybersecurity. Every domain of cybersecurity, CIS controls covers everything. What CIS controls only does is to help your company on how to best secure their infrastructure so that you don't have to scramble like, oh, how do we secure this? Oh, what do we do? Oh, how do we do that? No. CIS control has everything on what to do and how to do them. And they have 18 of them. Okay. CIS also has benchmark. This is developed, CIS also develop and maintain security configuration benchmark for various software applications, operating systems, and network devices. Let's look at those three: softwares, operating system, and network. Software are every software that you use to work, right? Every software that you work with. Operating system are the components that are working on your laptop. Whatever you're seeing, whatever you're using to work is because the operating system is functioning, right? That is the machine that is working in your laptop that you can see that helps you to control your laptop, and also network devices. So CIS has benchmark that, okay, this is how you have to protect your software, this is how you have to protect your operating system, and this is how you have to protect your network devices. Okay? And lastly, requirements. How applicable is even CIS? CIS resources are applicable worldwide and can be used by organizations of all sizes, sectors, and regions to improve their cybersecurity posture. To implement CIS controls requirements, you have to follow the CIS controls for effective cyber defense. To adopt CIS benchmark requirements, you utilize their benchmark to ensure secure system configuration. And I have three of them here, which is continuous monitoring and improvement, education and training requirements, and then community involvement requirements. So guys, these are the fundamentals that are very strong as the building block and principle foundation for a GRC professional. Anyone that wants to succeed in the field of security and risk management, in the field of GRC, these are the framework that you need to know. I hope that you've been blessed. I hope that you've been informed, and I hope that this has been very good for you. Like I said before, I discourage you from taking notes so that you can take it all in as I share the information. I would encourage you that after this training, you have 24 hours, go back to it and take notes. We've only done about 1 hour, all right? And the reason is because I'm not going to, we have about 45 minutes to retain information. If you're doing more than 45 minutes, you're going to lose people. You're going to lose, concentration. So that is why I've tried as much as possible to still have it in 1 hour. The reason is because we started late. We started the training, I think, about past 10. So, and I'm not going to cheat anyone by not giving you the time that you deserve. Thank you so much, guys. Let me stop sharing. Miriam, let me drink some water. I'm done. Let's take it from there, Miriam. Thank you.
Ooh, thank you so much, Tolu. That was a really, really amazing session. Did you enjoy this session? Please describe the session using one word in the chat box.
Wow.
Use the chat box, please. Just type a word to describe the session.
Excuse me, Miriam.
Oh,
the chat board. I'm sorry, Miriam. The chat board is only private. I don't see any chat.
Okay, but I can see it. I'm reading them out.
Okay.
Yeah,
you see it individually. Okay.
Yeah. Informative. Okay, Juliana said it was beautiful. Elizabeth said it was great. Samuel said it was mind-blowing. Okay. I get the point. You really enjoyed the session. You had a nice time. Thank you so much once again, Tolu. So I want to make a quick announcement before we move on to the task for today. I want to quickly announce that tomorrow we'll be sending out a link to an application, right? Tolu will be presenting an amazing offer on a special breakout session on Friday. So tomorrow you'll be getting a link to an application. Only those who fill out the link, who fill out the application and send them in will be considered to work with Tolu after this challenge. Please take note. As soon as you get the application, the space is limited. So you have to fill it out immediately and send it in. Don't waste time so you don't get locked out of the application. Once you receive it, fill it out immediately and send it in immediately. I hope you understand. All right. So moving on, I want to quickly point out to our friends on Facebook that we see you, and we still have a couple of slots available in the Platinum experience. If you'd like to upgrade to the Platinum experience, use the link in the Facebook live chat to be posted there now. Use that link to upgrade to the Platinum experience so that you can have a more interactive session, right? So I'm just going to share my screen now and then share our daily tasks with us. All right. So for our task today, we are expected to, get the list of the top 5 compliance regulations and their websites, right? And secondly, you're expected to post a video testimony in the Facebook group about your experience with the challenge. Agnes, I saw your message. You said you were a bit confused how to go about it. You can watch the ones that other people posted today and just copy it, right? Just tell us what your experience was like. It can be a very short video. It doesn't have to be long, right? And then share with us what your experience was and post it on the Facebook group. And also, if you would recommend it to others, if you recommend this challenge to others, share in the video. All right, so I'll stop sharing my screen now. Okay. One last thing. For those of us on Facebook, remember that you'll be receiving a workbook in your email right after this session. And you also have access to the recording to be made available to you via email after this session. So you can go through the recording between now and 10 a.m. tomorrow. 10 a.m. CST tomorrow. Take note of that. So we'll be moving on to the platinum session now. Arize, please, can you excuse our friends on Facebook? Okay, great. Okay, so before I invite Tolu for the Q&A, let me quickly remind us about the rules. I see some hands are already up, so I think you remember. I will call you. As soon as I call you, you turn on your video, unmute your mic, and ask your question. You have more than one question, ask all your questions before you turn off your microphone. And then you give Tolu time to answer the question. Don't turn it back on or try to distract others from benefiting from what he has to say. We want to make it a very smooth experience for everyone. All right. Tolu, are you ready for us?
Yes, of course, I am.
Okay. All right. So, Shotonye, I can see your hand.
So sorry, before you called anyone, remember yesterday, we couldn't answer everybody, and I promised that I will answer those ones first. So let me quickly answer them, and then we'll go to every other person. Just give me a minute. You can stay with me, Miriam. Let me quickly answer this question. Question number 1 says, I love the challenge. How much will I be paying for extended mentorship? You get that on Friday. Trust me, on Friday in the breakout session, you get it. And it will be only for, so here is the thing. You get an application tomorrow. When you fill the application, you're going to get a psychometric test. You'll write the test. And for those that pass the test, you're going to get a conditional acceptance letter. Okay. And this conditional acceptance letter and the admission letter for those who later qualify and scale through the process, you can use that for your tax refund and for any benefit. We're going to be talking about that on Friday. Okay, so you get more on that on Friday. Question 2, Ugo says, do you recommend the Google Cyber Certificate Program for someone hoping to get a job in security and risk management? Google Cyber Certificate is not recommended. You can do it, but that is not required. You will not see, you will hardly find any GRC job, any job at all in the GRC field that will ask you for Google Cyber Certificate. What they typically ask is CISSP, CISA, CRISC, or CISM, okay? Question number 3 from Patrick says, can someone still get a job in cybersecurity job with a record? I'm sorry I even mentioned the name before I read the question. I don't understand what you mean by record. Is it like criminal record or not so good record? If that's the case, it's going to be difficult to get a cybersecurity job if you have a record that is not so palatable, because companies, they do background check, okay? And I can say this here, we help with reference, referrals, we help with all that, but the background check aspect of it, where they check to see if you have criminal record, there is no way I can help with that, okay? So if that is the case, if that's your question, I would advise you to do something else, okay? Cybersecurity, they will not allow you if you have record. Ferdinand asks, security and risk management would be a good domain for me to engage with, despite the fact that I don't have any IT knowledge. After the 5-day challenge, I wish to know how much the 90-day program will cost, and there's a payment plan like installment. Of course, Ferdinand, you get to know that on Friday. Q5, will cyber jobs be affected in future because of AI? This is from Hayward. So the reason why cybersecurity is getting more popular, why everybody, I did a video where I said cybersecurity has become the new bride. The reason is because of AI, nothing more. Is the reason, that's why cybersecurity has become a lot more popular. So with the advent of AI, cybersecurity will become one field that will be needed a lot. You guys can check. Bonnie Glass has the report. And then there's another consulting company as well, even McKinsey as well. They did the report till about 2040 something. There's going to be like millions of jobs every year that will be open for cybersecurity because there's shortage of talent to meet the demand. Can you suggest an environment we all can use for the rest of the class? When you say environment, I don't understand. We do this on live Zoom. So I wouldn't understand. I'm sorry if I'm even murdering your name. I don't understand what you mean by that environment. Thank you. I've never been this happy with a class and instructor in my life. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And Bamidele also asked, you had mentioned if we can be aggressive as you were. Can you please practically break down what you did in terms of being aggressive to achieve great results, especially in these 90 days to crack this thing and start earning? What did I do? I started as a pen tester. So I did home lab in my house. I paid for several courses. So as I was driving Uber, I was watching training. When I drop a passenger, when I pick a passenger, I will pause it. When I drop them, I continue watching. I will work from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Okay. In Chicago, those of you that are from Chicago, there are some Nigerian restaurants on the north side, right? Before you get to downtown or right after downtown, sorry. There are Chicago Nigerian restaurants. So I go there to eat in the afternoon. While I'm eating, I'm watching training. When I get back home, I'm back on my laptop on the lab. The lab is simply a virtual machine and another machine that I'm attacking and getting response from. And I was doing that. When I get home, I will start around 11. I won't leave my laptop till about 1 to 2 a.m. I go to sleep. 7 a.m. I'm going to drive Uber. So that was how aggressive I was. And when I was going to get a job, I got 3 at the same time. But then there was nothing like working from home. So I couldn't do the 3 of them. So I had to drop 1. I dropped 2. I only picked 1. So that is how aggressive I was at that time. But thankfully, you guys are not doing something that is deeply technical. Trust me. So you're good. If you can read, write, and understand, I trust my people. Let me just leave it at that. Zephyrin says, all my questions were covered during the challenge. I was not able to download the ebook. Yeah, the ebook is for you to be able to read and, take the ebook. No, you should be able to download the ebook. The workbook is what you will not be able to download, but the ebook, you should be able to download it. Team, please check, ensure that everyone can download the ebook. With no tech, Laura says that with no tech background presently, if an interviewer asks me, how do I answer these questions? How many years of cybersecurity experience do you have? In what cybersecurity role have you worked? Laura Williams, if you were a recruiter or you are an interviewer and you are interviewing me, I think this is the last question. Okay. Let me finish this statement and then Miriam, we can take questions. If you were an interviewer and you are interviewing me and I come to you and you say, hey, Tolu, yeah, tell me, how many years of experience do you have? And I tell you, I don't have any experience. Okay, what have you done in cybersecurity? And I say, no, I've not done anything. Would you still consider me? Meanwhile, you have about 5 other folks that have 6 years, 5 years, 7 years of experience. Would you still consider me? The answer is emphatically no. So when you are applying, this is what my mentor told me. Like I told you, my mentor is white. I learned everything from him. Like I give him the kudos for everything I know today. He told me, he said, Tolu, that's how he calls me, Tolu. If I'm applying for an accountant today, I'm an accountant. If I'm applying to be a physician, I've been a physician. If I'm applying to any role, that's who I am. It is what it is. Sadly, it is what it is. The reason why you will never have the opportunity to even get the job is, even when they see your resume, they won't talk to you because it's a waste of time. There are 10 people that have applied for this role. About 9 of them claim they have 6, 7, 10 years experience, and you do not have any experience at all. Why, as a company, why would I gamble and employ you over those people that have experience or claim to have experience? Sadly, it is the world that we live in, guys. It is not my rule. I didn't make the rule. Okay? It is the world that we live in. So if you want to achieve the result that others are achieving, you have to do what they're doing. If not, there is nothing we can do about it. So you just have to do what you have to do to get what you want. Okay? Thank you. So I've answered all those questions. So we can move on now. Miriam, can you please moderate? Let's take questions one after the other.
All right, thank you, Tolu. Shotoye, you were about to start the other time. Turn on your video and please go ahead. Shotoye, are you with us?
You're on
Hello.
mute. You're still on mute. You need to unmute yourself.
Can I ask my question, please? You
Uh,
called me?
look, Shotoye.
Yeah.
Shotoye.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Can hear you
yeah.
now.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Could you repeat what you said a minute ago? Sorry, I didn't get it.
Is it about experience? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, no. I just stepped out to get something, but she said something earlier just before I stepped out.
Oh, she was asking you to ask your question.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you for the opportunity. Yesterday, I think shortly after the challenge, the first day challenge, Tolu, you promised us we're going to get the download. I mean, the book that we are supposed to download about the GRC. I've not received any one at all. So I was just wondering if you could piggyback on that and maybe let me know when it's possible for me to have that.
All right.
And,
I'm sorry about that. Is that all your question?
Yeah. No. I have one more question actually.
Right.
This one might sound a little bit technical though, but you made mention of about 5 functions. All right. Among all if you look at all those functions, right? I looked at them and I said, in a lot of ways, they're similar to some aspect that I've looked at, even in the pharmaceutical industry, when you're looking at SOPs and all that. But specifically the area of recovery, right? The area of recovery that you made mention as one component of the function. What I wanted to ask was, is that recovery, is another name for that recovery a kind of continuous improvement system?
Okay,
or
thank
is
you.
Is it something else? I just want to get that clarification.
All right,
thank you.
So thank you so much, Shotoye. So for the rest of the folks, please, when you want to ask question, go straight to the question. If I need more context, I will tell you. The reason is I want to give everybody an opportunity to ask question, please. I don't want to shortchange people, please. Now, number one, I'm sorry that you have not received the ebook. Arinze, please ensure that everyone gets the ebook. Please speak to the web department that we still have folks that have not received the ebook. Please let them receive.
Sending it right away.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
and that's number 2, the recovery phase. That is so when you have 5 phases, right? Identify, you want to protect, you want to detect, you want to recover, you want to identify, you want to protect, you want to detect, you want to respond and recover. The recovery phase has processes underneath. So those processes, you can now call them business continuity. You can call them incident response. You can call them any name, depending upon any company that you work with. Okay. So, but the recover phase is not called any other name. it's recover. Reason is these names were given to it by the NIST framework themselves. So companies do not change. Companies do not change the 5 functions. No, but the processes under those functions, companies can name them anything. That is how it works. All right. Thank you. Next person. Thank you.
Stanley Chikeluba, please go ahead quickly.
While we wait for Stanley.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
Yeah, can I go?
Yeah, hi. Can you hear me?
I think Stanley is here. Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. My question is, I got multiple questions. So just one question first is that, do you have any links for the tools we can use for GRC for practices and stuff like that? And also
ask all your questions, please.
And also, you were talking about the HIPAA, PCI, and stuff. I was wondering that we have to have all these knowledge for the HIPAA and PCI and everything else as well for GRC. The last question is that that's it.
Okay, thank you. So links to tools, no, we don't give links to tools to download. What we do is point you to YouTube. However, for my inner circle, for my mentees, we have a particular day that we set aside when it is time for you to begin to start practicing, because part of the things you do is to practice real world jobs, real world scenarios, right? Like for internship and all that. We dedicate a particular day for installation. So we find a way to install it on each person's laptop, okay? So the links to that, we do not have it. Remember yesterday, I said, if you want to learn any tool, let's say for instance, ServiceNow or RSA, go on YouTube, learn any of the tools, and you might get ways, especially to download the community tools on YouTube. You know, they'll point you to how to get that done. Now, for HIPAA and PCI knowledge, do you have to know everything as a GRC expert? No, you don't have to. And I will tell you why. In my experience, when I worked with Nomad Health as a senior cloud security engineer, the only thing that they have to be compliant with is HIPAA. When I worked with the retail company that introduced me to GRC, the only thing that they also they were in compliance with was PCI DSS. There's another company that I also worked with then. We had a software that we were selling for companies to do background check. The only thing that we were also concerned about was SOC 2. So what that simply means is that you do not know the company you're going to work for. So if you don't know what they will need you to focus on. Okay? For instance, we have people that are saying, okay, I've been a nurse and I've been hearing about HIPAA. I work with HIPAA. Now they know HIPAA, and this will help them to further, you know, as a nurse, if they want to go into healthcare, cybersecurity. But what if as a nurse, you want to go into cybersecurity and you want to work with Amazon or Google? They don't care about HIPAA, but they care about PCI DSS. So do you have to know everything, at least the basics for your interview? Of course, yes. The reason is because when they want to interview you, you're interviewing today for a GRC job, and what they are concerned about is HIPAA. You're interviewed tomorrow for another GRC job, and what they're concerned about is PCI DSS. So if you focus on HIPAA, how would you talk with the ones that are talking about PCI DSS? So to start with, the fundamentals are very important for you to know. But when you start getting jobs, you don't care about all that. You only need to know one or two, because that's what you'll be working with. Also, let me make this clear, because, you know, and I believe most of you know, a lot of you are in corporate America already, or even in Canada. When you get a job, you can't be jack of all trades. Like you're in SOC, you're in PCI, no, you can't be everywhere. Okay, there's there's, as a matter of fact, there's cybersecurity principles that do not allow you to work everywhere. Okay, so if you're going to focus on SOC 2 when you get a job, that's what they'll put you. If you're focusing on PCI, if you're focusing on even internal IT audit, that's what you're going to focus on. Okay, so to do interview, try and know these fundamentals, but after that, you don't need them. Thank you. Next person.
Can I go?
Yeah, Pearl, you can go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I just have a short question about the task that you gave yesterday. I don't know about others. I'm running a very tight program. I came back from a 12-hour shift this morning and joined this class. So what's the time limit, to respond to those workbook, please? That's just my question.
Thank you, Pearl. And I salute your courage. I salute your doggedness and determination. Guys, please take note. Pearl should be one of those that will qualify for the program. Please take note, please.
Thank you.
The fact that you even work 12 hours and you can still come back and join the program, it's inspiring to me. Wow. Anyways, so before the next day challenge, try to have put in whatever you want to do so that you don't carry over what we did yesterday and to the next day. So simply put, before you come tomorrow morning, try as much as possible to have done the task that you have to do today. Madam Agnes, I see your message. Well done. Well done. Don't worry. Well done.
Well, right now, I've not done yesterday's one. I will do the two together. Is that allowed? I've not done yesterday's one.
No, it's not allowed. No, you only do, that is gone. You only do the one that we give you for the day. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next person, please.
Miss Tura, are you there? Quickly, please make it fast.
Yes.
Miss Tura.
Okay, I have most of my questions have been answered, and I want to majorly thank Mr. Tolu and everybody working with him. I've been seeing your post on my social media. I must confess, sometimes I just swipe it off like, who is this person always coming up and saying you can get job, you can get job? Like, I hope this is not a scam, but how God works, somebody also reached out to me like, why not try cybersecurity? And last minute, day before yesterday, the person sent me the link. I missed yesterday's class because I couldn't register on time. So I just want to say this is just God's work, me joining this class, and I'm happy to see you and be able to talk to you. So I want to commend everybody. But one of my other questions is that, aside from the ones you already answered, is that the part whereby you're waiting to detect something like a threat or something, what do you do as a cybersecurity at that time?
Thank you. That's a very good question. I like questions like this because any question that stimulates my mind about cybersecurity excites me. Now, as a GRC expert, your duty, simple, is to ensure that companies do what they're supposed to do. Now, after identification phase is protection. Now, if they're not protecting as they should, it means that they will ultimately lose some compliance requirements. They will not be able to fulfill the requirement that they should. For instance, PCI DSS. If we have identified that we have credit card data in all our database, how do we secure the credit card database? PCI DSS says that we have to encrypt them. Okay. Now, as a GRC expert, there is no waiting. Like, okay, what do we do while we're waiting? There is no waiting. What you're doing is, hey guys, the security engineers, we have to encrypt all our credit card, even though they are in the database. Are they encrypted? If they say yes, okay, give me the evidence. Number two, you're asking the engineers or the DevOps guys, how many people have access to our database that houses our credit card? They said, well, it is only the DevOps guys and the engineering team. Okay, can you please give us evidence that shows that? They give it to you. So there is nothing like a waiting period between when you identify and when you protect. However, and here is the sweet thing about GRC, there's always a downtime. And that is why most GRC people get bored. There are times that for about 2-3 months, you are not doing anything active because there is no audit going on. You're not doing PCI audit. You're not doing SOC audit. Nothing is going on. And you've actually worked with other teams to put everything in place to ensure that you meet all the requirements. After that is done, you're just chilling. However, the rainy day is coming. Like when you want to do audit, that you'll be busy. You're going to be working with auditors. You're going to be working with your in-house team. Like, hey guys, the auditor is asking for this evidence. Give it to me. And the GRC team, which is the reason why GRC is always the #1 career to become a chief information security officer, to manage people is tough. The auditor is asking you as one of the GRC guys, hey, Mr. Can you please give me the evidence of your firewall? And you're telling the security engineers, guys, our auditor, PC auditor, they need the evidence of our firewall. And the security engineers will tell you, okay, yeah, we'll get back to you. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, they're not getting back to you. So it is your job at that moment, how you are able to manage people. As a matter of fact, maybe when we get to that point, I will tell you, it is one of the things that they will ask you during interview processes. Like, how do you manage difficult people in other teams? Because for you, you're managing every other people as a GRC professional. So there are downtime, but there are rainy days where it gets so busy.
Yeah, so sorry, since you explained that, I have a follow-up question. So the downtown time, I hope is not a time to lose or drop people. Like, since we are not busy, we want to drop some people, and it's not a threat to the your work or something. That's my question.
Nice question. That's a very reasonable question. Do you know what it takes for a company to hire you? You know how much it costs them to hire you? I'm part of interview, my 2 jobs. I'm part of interview board. As the last interview we did, I was asked to lead the team. I interviewed the FBI. This guy has been in the FBI for 17 years. 17 years. And I wanted to prove myself because, as a Black person, you have to prove. I drilled the guy so much that I even felt guilty right after the interview. Like, I asked too many questions. But what am I saying? If I told you how much it cost the company for us to get to that point, you'll be shocked. Number 2, there is always a need for GRC. Like, if there were downtime, I would not have 2, 3, 4 jobs. They will be letting me go like, hey guys, we don't need you now. Like, if they let you go now, and then the next 2 months, now they want to start, are they going to spend the money to hire again? It's expensive to hire. That is why you see companies take time to hire, because when they hire you, they can't fire immediately because it takes money to hire people. So there is nothing like the downtime. We have to let people go. Downtime does not mean that there's no job for you to do, but it means that you are not as busy as you used to be.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Miriam? Hello?
Emmanuel Ophili, are you there?
Can I say something? I am not getting through since yesterday. I'm trying to see if I can get through to it. My communication is not coming through, even my text. Are you guys hearing me?
Yes, I can hear, but I don't know who is speaking.
This is John Bosco. I was the first person to turn into this morning, but my communications is not coming through. There must be something I'm doing wrong.
Okay. Can you turn on your video? Do you have a question?
My video is on when I came on, but suddenly it doesn't have me showing up here. So
okay.
If you can hear me.
What's your question?
My question, okay. Most of my questions has been answered, but I wanted to see if somebody can post something about how to post the video, because I tried to do it yesterday and I couldn't. I have recorded something, but I just couldn't post it. So I need something, some of the process of posting the video on.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tolu. This is just an opportunity to say thank you because I tried to do it. I couldn't do it before.
All right. I appreciate that. Thank you. I'll give you the leeway because you said you were the first to join this morning. So
Yes.
I understand a lot of our people here, you know, the parents and adults were not Gen Zs that understand all these, you know, social media. So I would say, Arinze, please talk to the team to do like a screenshot of how to post on Facebook or any of the group, you know, demonstrate that, not a video, like just a screenshot, and email it to our people so that, thank you, Arinze, so that they know how to, because I've seen John Bosco is like the second or third person. Madam Agnes also couldn't post, so let's help them out. Thank you. Miriam, next person.
Emmanuel Ophili, please go ahead with your question.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Tolu. In fact, it's a time worth waiting for. Like, I really appreciate you. I appreciate your entire team and crew for the diligence in putting this together. Just not to waste time, I'm just going to ask my question. I'm actually a pharmacist, so I could relate with some things some other people have already said, but I'm trying to make my way into the cybersecurity. Everything that has been said here, it's very real and practical because I could relate with them. Just to use what's it called? The United Healthcare issue, for instance, the breach, it impacted the entire system. It affected me at work. I had customers yelling at me because I couldn't process payment. So it translates. I can see how real this opportunity is. So I can, and every other thing. But my question basically has to do with someone asked, I think Ugo asked that question, but I just want to add on that. I'm halfway with my cybersecurity, Google cybersecurity certification. I'm just doing it because I needed to understand the language of risk, because that is what senior executives who are in this field really need. They don't know anything about firewall. They don't know anything about configuration. They don't know nothing of that. So I just needed to have like a background in cybersecurity, be able to relate with IT teams, know what they do, just basic fundamental knowledge, then use that as a GRC cybersecurity professional and be able to explain to them in a language they would understand. But my question is, and I'm doing that so I could take advantage of the 30% discount towards the CompTIA Security Plus. But based on what we went through today and some things you mentioned yesterday, do you think it's still necessary to go through with the CompTIA Plus? Instead of doing CompTIA Plus, let me finish up with the Google certification, then maybe go on to one of those, the one you mentioned, the CISA, CRIS, any of those towards cybersecurity. Do I need to just up on that instead of focusing to do the CompTIA security? That's basically my question.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Again, let me see if I can, I'm going to speak on that, but I want to see if I can quickly find something. And then, see, like I said, my wife will always tell me, you can show me better than tell me. Now, guys, this is GRC analyst job. GRC analyst. GRC analyst is like, is a good role, but it doesn't pay that much. This one is only paying about 110,000. So let's just manage this for now. I just put GRC job as you were talking. I typed GRC jobs. So I'm looking at here and I'm trying to see, you know, collecting and reviewing and uploading evidence. You guys remember I talked about that, about, you see, it's part of, anyway, that's not what I'm saying. Now, this is where I'm going, thank God. Here, did you see those certification? Did you see them? So this is what I mean by I can show you better than tell you. I just typed it as you were talking. And this was posted maybe a few days ago. I mean, because this is posted 17 hours ago. This one was posted when? I can't see when it was posted. I can't see when this job was posted. But anyway, it's not something that has been posted for a long time, maybe like a day ago or something like that. So why am I showing you this? Remember, I said it before, I haven't seen all this, and you can go through all the GRC jobs that you will see, either risk analyst or any of those jobs. You cannot see Security Plus. You can't see all this Google said. You see CISA, CISA, CISM, CISSP. Let me tell you why. The jobs that we are preparing you guys for is a high-level job. It's not the job that will be. Remember, just imagine what you were saying. When you were saying it, I'm like, Emmanuel already understands this. Like, how do you understand to the management team? How do you speak? Because a lot of your job will be talking to the engineering guys, talking to the management team. That is why it is easier for people in GRC to become Chief Information Security Officer. Now, to have that role, do you think they will need security? Security Plus is like fundamental. Security Plus is what you start when you're getting into cybersecurity. It's the fundamental of cybersecurity. So you as a GRC expert, right? And this is to everyone here. You as a GRC expert, you are here. There is a security engineering team that are here. You see, in this security engineering team, some of them, when they started their career, Security Plus is part of the certifications that they have. Now, imagine you that is here as a GRC professional. You are now doing the Security Plus that they have done years ago. It doesn't work in your best interest. It's not like, if you want to do it just for the knowledge, fine. But if you want to do it to aid your job or to help you in projecting yourself out there, you don't need it. Okay, thank you. Next
Vincent,
person.
Go ahead with your question. Vincent, can you hear me?
Can you hear Stanley, please? Stanley?
Yeah, I can hear you. I got you now. I'm here.
Go ahead.
Hey, Salu, how you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you.
Good, good. Yeah, I wanted to talk with you. I liked your speech on what you're going through teaching the course, and I'm the type I want to learn more. I've been in the field working as a security control assessor, ISO, and had the training in PCI, DSI, and I see GRC is something I never looked at, but I looked at all my training and search, and I know that's where I need to go. So I'm looking forward into getting into it. Because I've been there in the field. I worked as a contractor, some everywhere, Fort Belvoir, NSA, CIA, DIA. And I need to further myself because I'm looking at, like I said, going up, ISM or something like that, something in dealing with the GRC.
All right. Is that your question?
Huh?
Is that your question? Is that your question?
Yes, the question is, how I know how deep does it go?
Okay, thank you. So if I understand your question, I
see all the fields.
Okay, Vincent, let me answer that. Let me answer your question. Thank you. I think because you're driving, there is interference with your network, but I think I get your question correctly.
Right.
So if I get what you're saying is how deep does GRC go, and how do you use that to level up? You know, of course, because everybody wants more. So here is the thing. I said it before, if you're working with me and you want to get GRC job, you will never look for an entry-level role. That's number one. Number two, GRC is deep and wide. However, you can decide to go narrow. GRC has a lot of careers underneath. IT audit, risk management, vendor risk management, policy, data privacy, a lot of roles under GRC. You can choose which area you want to focus on. What that means is that being a GRC expert, you have options. And because you have options, the avenue to make more money is there, which is what I encourage on. And I don't hide these things. If you go on my YouTube, I talk about it a lot. As a GRC expert, you have no business having just one job. There's no reason why you're doing just one job and you're a GRC expert. Because people who do software engineers, they do more than one. So of course, there are means to level up. There are ways to level up as a GRC expert. One of such ways is, number one, get the certifications that you need. Number two, put those experience under your belt and begin to apply for the ones you want to do. And in no time, you level up. It's as simple as that.
Gotcha.
Okay, thank you.
Gotcha, thanks.
Thank you. Next person, please.
Folusho Orabi, please go ahead with your question.
Good afternoon, Tolu. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for the opportunity. So real quick, yesterday you made me know that you're going to give me the page or the link for the homework, and also I find it difficult to even open whatever it is that is going to be on the page so that I can, I saw the question. I didn't see question number one, but I saw today's own because I was constantly going back to my my email. I saw day 2 homework assignment, whatever that was. I was not able to even click on it and do whatever, like you want to type in assignment or what, like assignment, they'll give you opportunity to type in your own answers or whatever. Then there's going to be a submit button, either a blue button somewhere that says submit or something, or go back to this page and upload it into the answer box or something. There was nothing like that, just a plain question which has nowhere to click for anything response, no response page. Yeah, link to it. That's number one concern. I've been battling that all through midnight till this moment. Okay. Secondly, the link to go through the daily class, like we're having it now. I spent more than 30 minutes trying to go back to the first day you gave me the link to come to the 5-day program. I click on everything. It was demanding meeting ID, meeting, launch meeting and all that, which wasn't my own jurisdiction to do. I'll just join. So what I now did was, the last moment I was in class, I was still happy. Luckily, I just God help me, and I was directed to go to my own saved Zoom on my phone. So I got there, I click on, luckily I just saw his Michael's name and your company's name. I just click on it. And that was how I was able to come to class today. Maybe I would have just been out for today and it would be so painful for me. Please kindly help me. I need to do my assignment. Like Tolu said, the assignment for yesterday is gone, but today, please, I don't want to miss it. I want to get access to it and be able to submit. There may be a link to come to tomorrow's class that has, or unless I have to just go back to the same route I went today. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I can understand, but here is the thing. The questions are not for you to type on. You're not supposed to type on the question. See, that document that you're seeing is the same thing that everyone is seeing. So people cannot type on it. And it is intentional. We did it. See, everything that we do here is intentional. Let me explain the psychology behind that. It is called a challenge. We don't want to make it easy for people to just open it, type it, and that's it, you're done. No, that'll be too easy. What we want you to do is you read it, and yesterday's assignment was maybe you should write some careers in GRC. What we expect you to do, what we expected you to do is when you read that, go online. What are the careers in GRC? You see them, you copy them, paste them, and you submit them. We don't want you to just bring up the link, type it, and submit it. That is why that is there. Okay. Number two, I will give you opportunity. Number two, when you finish your assignment, how to submit there, how to submit your assignment is there. All right. So it is something that is easy for you to do. You cannot find submit button on that page. No. Okay. Also for Zoom, when you click on any link on Zoom to launch a meeting, you're going to see, you see that launch Zoom is something that you have to click as well. Sometimes, because your Zoom application is open, sometimes you don't have to click that launch Zoom. But if it's not, when you click that link, you have to click that launch Zoom and the Zoom will pop up. Okay, so that is something that we cannot control. It's just the way the application works. That is how Zoom works. Do you understand? All right.
Yeah. Can I talk? So real quick, like you said, if I click on the launch, I did that severally, and it always takes me to a page where I have to rewrite, put your name, ID, so many questions, as if I was applying for a fresh Zoom link or whatever. So that was how I had to just, after some time, I stopped trying because I don't want to mess up myself. So, you said if I finish the assignment, I should just please kindly directly tell me to post it. Like I got it, I should read it, get the information out and post it. How? I don't even have a direct email for you. If it's going to be your customer care or your email, then I'll know, okay, after I finish, I'll send it to you as an email.
Okay.
Well, please.
Thank you. So Arinze, please, on this chat box, please write directly to Madam Folosho on how to do what she's talking about. Please.
Right.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
Let's move to the
Really
next
appreciate.
person. Thank you. Next
Thank
person.
Helen Saipod. Helen Saipod. Unmute your mic and go ahead, please. Turn
Can
on
you
your
hear me?
video.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Okay, I had a few questions, but I think you kind of answered one. One was, what was the career path? No, and then the second question I had was, what are the common challenges that new GRC Did you hear anything I said?
Please start from the beginning.
I think I was muted. Okay, that's
Yeah.
okay. Okay, first question I had, and I think you kind of answered it because you talked about the chief security officer, but it was basically what the career part was. Are we working towards like a career part, or is it just basically trying to get different jobs? Because I know you said
People cannot hear
you
me.
had
I
like,
don't know why.
you can't hear me?
I can hear you. I think there's an interference. Arinze, can you please mute everyone? Please mute yourself when someone is asking questions.
Open my audio, video. I can see myself here, but I can't talk.
I'm sorry, Ellen.
Even if
That's
I
okay.
I cannot even
That's
hear.
okay. Can I go now?
Yeah, I'm trying to look for the person so that I can mute him.
I think it's a Julian or something.
Yeah, the person's the name is Julian something.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Please go ahead now.
Okay, so first question really had to do with career path. I know you've mentioned like you can rise as high as the chief security officer. I just wanted to just kind of dabble on some other things, but I think you kind of mentioned some things as you went along the way. The other one is, what are the common challenges that new GRC professionals face in their first year, and what tools or resources are kind of put in place. You know, since this is like a new field that we're trying to get into, we definitely are going to face some challenges. So what are the tools that can put in place, or resources that we can use to kind of tackle those challenges? That's all. And thank you.
Those are well thought out questions. Thank you, Aline. Thank you so much. So here is how I'm going to answer. And I need you guys to also pay attention, because Aline asked some very vital questions. Number one is career path. Now, in GRC, just like every other job, we have GRC analysts, we have GRC consultants, we have GRC managers, right? And we have director of GRC, and then we have chief information security officer. Okay. However, how do you can move up laterally, you can move up horizontally, and you can move up vertically, however you want. What do I mean by that? You can decide to work somewhere today, work there for a year, move to another company. You're here as a GRC consultant. You move to another company as a GRC manager. In about 2 years, you move to another company as a director of GRC. And you can be there to become a chief information security officer, or move to another company to become chief information security officer. However, in the same vein, you can be in the same company for 10 years, and you rise from being a GRC analyst to being a chief information security officer. You know, chief information security officer is the pinnacle, is the last like final position when it comes to cybersecurity. Chief information security, just like when you work in a consulting company and you later become a partner, either in a law firm or any company like that, and you become a partner, that's the last that you can ever be. Now, if you are in GRC, that is how you move, okay? And it depends on what you choose. You and I, we could be working with a company now, and we're all working together as GRC consultants. And I see an opportunity to become a manager of a risk department. And I go there to become the manager of the risk department. And from there, I move to another company where they're looking for a director of GRC, and I move there. Meanwhile, you are still in that same company, and you have not like moved up, you know, potentially as I have, because I'm moving around. So the career path is not like straightforward, this is what you have to do, like we have in either in civil service or it's just like every other IT field. You can be in one company and be there for 10 years and you're moving up the ladder gradually, or you can move from one, stay there for 3 years, move to another company, you know, move up the ladder, work there for a few years, move up the ladder in another company. So that's how it works. You can do that till you become a chief information security officer. And I will tell you why everyone has agreed that GRC is the #1 domain that spur people up to become chief information security officer. The reason is simple, because right from the day you started working in GRC, you've been dealing with people, you've been dealing with management. And CISO doesn't care about your firewall. They don't know about all that. What they care about is, are we secure? Are we doing the things we want to do? Okay, give it to me. Let me present it to the board. That's their job. So as a GRC, sometimes your job is to present to the management what you're doing. The management present to the CISO, CISO present to the board. So that's how you move up the ladder in GRC. And it depends on what, see, GRC is just the umbrella name. There are tons of jobs in GRC, tons of them. Number two, GRC challenges in their first year, people get bored. A lot of people are used to being busy year round. If you're in GRC and you like to be busy, you're going to get bored. Burnout is not something that we experience in GRC. In other cybersecurity domain, people get burnout because of the task and the thinking and the engineer. Like, it takes a lot. I work as a senior cloud security engineer in one job. I know what it takes to do my job. Number two is GRC, your first year, you get tired of working with documents. You get tired of working with documents because a lot of our job deals with documentation. What do I mean by that? And if you're reading all the requirements of any job you're applying to, you're going to see some form of documentation there. If you want to tell me that we do this, how do I know that you do it? There has to be documentation for that. You have to present to me the documentation that shows that you do it. Number two, if you want to talk to the security engineer or any other team at all on what they have to do, there's documentation that guides you on what to tell them and what you need from them. So sometimes when you're getting into GRC, especially I spoke to, I think, Emmanuel, he's pharmacist. Maybe Emmanuel doesn't deal with documentation, like he doesn't read, he doesn't do all that. And suddenly he gets into GRC where he has to understand policies, procedures, standard. They're tired of documentation. Number three is how to deal with people. I'm telling you top things that GRC people deal with in their first year. Dealing with people means not your teammates, other departments. How do you deal with them? How do you ensure that they do what they're supposed to do and you don't create, like, you guys are not enemies. You still work cordially. So these are the things that, let me give you an instance. Last week, I reached out to 3 external companies. These are vendors. We call them vendors. You can call them third party. I reached out to them to answer some questions, all right? We want to know how secure their system is. And I was reaching out to them. They didn't respond to me. They didn't respond. That is part of the things that you will go through in your first year as a GRC professional. Now, how do you deal with that? You understand? So these are the things that you go through that are like challenges in your first year as a GRC professional. How to do your job is a lot easier because there's Google, there's ChatGPT, there are resources, there are documentation, but people get bored easily, especially people that are used to doing things all year round. So those are the challenges. Now, tools and resources in place to help. Number one, if you work where you have a great manager, it's a good help. Number two is basically, there's no one size fits all, especially when it comes to dealing with people. It has to do with who you are as a person. You understand what I mean? And when you're having an interview, again, guys, I'm giving you a clue. This will come up. It will come up in your interview. They want to know, how do you deal with people? They're going to ask you, can you tell me one experience where you asked for an evidence or you wanted to do something and they proved difficult? How did you deal with it and what did you learn? They will ask you things like that. So it's who you are that will help in dealing with things like that. Okay. So there is really no tool that is set aside for GRC professionals, because the things we go through are typically people management and our psychology. All right. Thank you. Yeah. Next person.
Can you hear me, Toru?
Next person, please.
This is
if you're not called, please don't unmute yourself. When it is your turn, you'll be unmuted. They will call you and you unmute yourself, please.
Joseph, go ahead, please.
Joseph, it's your turn. Your question, please.
Hi, Tolu.
Hi.
Hi, everybody. I'm really thrilled and glad to be in this session. My question is about how are you going to help me as a person to tweak my for example, my LinkedIn account that already has a current job that I'm doing, and how to be able to tweak it to be able to fit into cybersecurity since I'm looking at changing career. How I know you are putting that to like maybe Friday or thereabout from what you said so far. I don't know, maybe Friday will answer this question and all that. So, but I'm just being curious and thinking how in relating to my experiences and all that in terms of getting the job and in cybersecurity.
Thank you. So I said something yesterday. If you want to move to cybersecurity, I don't encourage people to change their LinkedIn because someone like me, like say for instance, I want to move to another career now. Maybe I want to go to finance, and someone just asked me to edit all my cybersecurity experience and change it to finance. I'm not going to do that because it's taking me years to build that career. What we advise people to do is open another, have another email address, open another LinkedIn, and that will help you to be able to build, your GRC portfolio from ground up with a brand new LinkedIn. We don't advise people to edit, but if that's what you want to do, why not? You can edit that. But if I would help you to personally do that, you will understand more about that on Friday. Like I said, just try and be in the breakout room. You get to know more about that. And before Friday, you guys will know how and what you should have on your resume and your LinkedIn. Don't worry about that, okay? We have a session for that. And then there's a bonus that I'm going to give to everyone. And I told the team yesterday, the reason is simple. I like the way the vibe that I'm getting from the platinum, the way you guys are asking questions. So I'm going to be reviewing a job. I'm going to teach you how to review job description and the resume that match that job. I'll be giving that as a bonus. It's a different thing for me to teach you, but it's a different thing for me to let you see how and why it is there. So I'm gonna be giving you guys that bonus. Thank you.
Thank you, Tolu. Sorry, if I can ask just one more question. It's about the ebook. I've not gotten it. I know you told Arinze to email it to every
The
other
ebook
person.
has been sent to everyone. Please check your emails right now. You will see the ebook. And please, guys, we're taking some more questions and we'll be done for today. And we'll send the forms later to collate your questions. Thank you. The next person will be iPhone.
iPhone. I don't know what your name is, but I'm saying iPhone. Please unmute your mic and go ahead with your question.
Hi, my name is Debbie. I'm sorry, Zoom doesn't allow me to put my name in for some reason, and maybe I don't know how to do it, but my name is Debbie. My question is about the compliance. Since GRC is like the chief organ or whatever for all the other domains, do you have to know like the compliance for each of the other domains? And also, I don't know if you've already answered this question, but if you're applying for a job, right, how would you know like the specific tool that they are using, since we don't have to like know each and every one of them? How would you know which specific one that this company is using so you can prepare for it in case you are asked questions on to elaborate more on the tools? Like, how would you know that besides HIPAA? Because HIPAA, you know, that's for hospitals. So apart from HIPAA, how about the other one?
Okay, thank you. Now, let me start from the first one, which is the compliance. Do you have to, how does compliance relate to other domains? So let me give you this instance. We looked at NIST framework as 5 functions. You see, those 5 functions, they cover all the cybersecurity domains, those 5 functions. That's for that. Number 2, PCI DSS, we saw that PCI DSS has 12 requirements. You see, those 12 requirements, they also cover all the domains. Now, you as a GRC professional or as a compliance analyst or compliance specialist, whatever title you want to give it, now your job is to understand that, okay, PCI, this company that I work with, has to be PCI certified, and these are the 12 requirements. Requirement number 1, encryption. Who is in charge of encryption? Okay, security engineer or DevOps engineer. You go deal with them. Guys, do we encrypt? Give us the evidence. What is the process? Let's have the evidence. It is not your job to know how they do them on each of those requirements, but it is your job to ensure that they do those things. So you see, all the requirements for each of these compliance, they cover all the domains, all cybersecurity domains. There is no cybersecurity requirement that does not cover, for instance, pen testing. Some call it security testing, some call it vulnerability testing. It covers that because you need to know what are your weaknesses. But as a GRC expert, is it your duty to conduct pen testing? No, it's not your duty, but you must ensure that the company does pen testing. So what you're following and what you're working with is the documentation that highlights the requirement of each of these regulatory compliance. Let's say, for instance, you work with Amazon and you are in the GRC department and your team is working on PCI DSS and they've given you like, because the way they do it, you will not be working with the 12 requirements. It's impossible. Your team might say, okay, your team might be saddled with 4 requirements. Okay, out of these 4 requirements, there are teams, there are departments that it is their job to work on those 4 requirements. So you and your team will be working with this team, these other teams, to ensure that those things are done and that you have the evidence collected. That is your job, okay? So that is how compliance regulatory requirement covers every domain. Now, for the tools that they use, when you're looking for a job and the company says you must be very good with, let's say, ServiceNow, and you've only used RSA Archer, if I were you, the best thing I would do before the interview, I will go on YouTube, watch RSA Archer. How does it work? What do they use it to do? What's the framework? How does it work? And when I get on the interview, I will tell them, I know ServiceNow, but RSA Archer, I can find my way around it. It is not something that I've used extensively, but I can find my way around it. That's all they want to know. The reason is, even when you tell them, of course, I know RSA Archer, I've worked with it for a while. When you get the job, they will still do orientation for you on that tool. It is required. They have to do it. Okay?
Okay.
So, simply put, do you have to know all the tools? No. That's it.
Okay. So the job description will let you know which tool, and then you can do your own research.
Of course. Every job description, like I said, don't worry. It's part of the bonus I'm giving you guys on Friday. There's a way that you review a job description that before you get to the interview, you already know what they're asking. You already know. You can tell their line of questioning. It's very easy to know. All right?
Okay. Thank you. And I just wanted to say, for those of you having issues with the video, because I was having issues too as well, but I realized that if I go on the camera on my actual phone, I can hit video and do a recording and then just post it on Facebook. Because if you try doing it directly on Facebook, you have issues doing it. So just by the way, thank you, Tolu.
Thank you. Thank you, Debbie. Thank you. The last person, who is that?
Ona, can you hear me? Unmute your mic and go ahead with your question.
Very much. Mr. Tolu, my name is Rotimi Babashola.
All right,
I've been following you for some time right now, but I've not been able to reach you because of some reasons anyway. I happen to have a background of accounting from Nigeria. At least I practiced accounting and auditing for like 20 years as a chartered accountant in Nigeria before relocating to America. And I've been on this cybersecurity for over 1 year now. I've had opportunity of getting CISA. I got my CISA, I got CISM, and I got AWS security specialty. So since that time, I've been looking for a job. I got discouraged. I wanted to go for my CISSP, but I got discouraged because I couldn't get a job. I got discouraged, and right there, I got you. I saw you. I saw your advert. I said, "Is it one of those people?" And I said, "Let me try." Where Yoruba will say, "Tobatin Raro" for so many times. So let me just try him and see if it's true. Apology to those people that didn't hear my Yoruba. So, I subscribe to Platinum because of the fact that I wanted to know where I'm getting it wrong. So in the area, maybe in the area of my resume or in the area of my preparation for interviews, because I got some people in the interview, some recruiter will tell me my job description only shows that I have an IT audit background, that I don't have a cybersecurity background. That's some people, they got me confused because I don't know, because I was trained to pass an exam. There wasn't a hand-on. So I want to ask you, when are we going to get our resume reviewed? That's number one.
Number one, I didn't promise you that I will review your resume. Okay. No.
Right.
What I told you that I will do for you is I'm going to review a resume and I will show you why that resume is what it is. We use Harvard standard resume, okay? We use Harvard standard resume, all right? So I did a video pretty much some days ago. This guy came to meet me in church, and he told me that unfortunately he hasn't heard about me before he went to do the training. He went to do a training, paid about 17,000. They didn't do his resume, they didn't do his LinkedIn, they didn't do any of that. And he's telling me, is the guy a scam? I said, no, it's not a scam. You didn't demand what you're supposed to demand for. Now, there's this guy that I think Miriam mentioned his name. A lot of them. One is in Houston. His name is Benga. We used to attend the same church before he moved to Houston. Now, this guy, he has all these certifications that you're talking about, even as CISSP. And he's been looking for a job for 6 months. I still have the chat on our WhatsApp. He's been looking for a job for 6 months. As a matter of fact, but it should be you're getting interview. Him, he wasn't getting interview, like no interview at all. So, and we met and I forwarded everything to my team that, okay, deal with it. This is my personal person. There's no need to just deal with it. 2 weeks later, 2 weeks, I'm not exaggerating, 2 weeks later, 2 weeks, he got to the second stage of 2 jobs. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. This is an exaggeration. The point I'm making is there is a reason why others are getting jobs and some are not, even though you have all the certifications. Okay? So, what I would just tell you to do is please don't miss the sessions for tomorrow and Thursday, because they will open your eyes to a lot of things. There are reasons why those things are happening, okay? And sometimes you need personalized one-on-one, like, you know, when you go to your doctor, they ask you questions. They ask you a lot of questions before they prescribe for you. That is the reason why we don't admit a lot of people. Imagine if I have 20 people that I'm working with. How am I going to attend to each person one after the other? Even though I have about 15 other people that we work with students in terms of one-on-one, but if I have like 20 people, it's not going to be efficient. That is why we admit very few people, because the question is, are we getting results? Yes. Can I get a result with 50, 100 people? Absolutely no, because I won't be able to work with you one-on-one. Okay, so, but don't miss the sessions for tomorrow and Thursday. You will get some understanding as to why, especially when it comes to interview and getting interviews, why you're not getting them. Okay, it will be an eye-opener. All right.
All right. Please, before you go, sir, please, along the line, the recruiters keep asking me about operating technology and SAP GRC, and I didn't see you mention any of those in the tools that we are using. I didn't see you mention any of those.
Thank you. SAP is also a tool, right? It's also a tool. So if you know, right, if you know, you tell them you know. If you don't, tell them you don't. You
All
understand
right.
what I'm saying? It depends on, again, all the jobs you're applying for. If you're applying for SAP jobs and you don't have SAP, it's going to affect you, which is why I said, let's just wait till tomorrow and Thursday session. You'll be able to understand all these things better. All right. Thank you so much. Miriam, I think that'll be the end.
Yeah.
So let's take, we can have other guys, fill the questionnaire, then I can answer their question first tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yes. Thank you so much, Tolu. That was a really amazing Q&A session. For the rest of you that we were not able to get to, please note that a link has been dropped in the chat box. Check the chat box right now and just type in your questions there. Juliana, you have been, yes, you attend to those questions first tomorrow before we move on to the new set of questions. Check the link on the chat box right now and type in your questions there, okay? So quickly, before we close for today, let me quickly remind us again that tomorrow we'll be sending out a link to an application, right? Tolu will be presenting an amazing offer on a special breakout session on Friday. And only those who fill out the application will be invited to this session and will be considered to work with Tolu after this challenge. Remember that the space is limited, so do well to fill out the application as soon as you receive it. We wouldn't want to have people complaining that they got locked out, okay? And then finally, you'll be getting an email after this session with your workbook and today's homework so that you can attempt it, go through it, record your video, and post it on Facebook as explained. And you'll also be getting a recording of today's session if you need to go over it. If there is something that you need to, okay, good. If there's something that you missed out on, you can go over the recording. You have access to it between now and 10 a.m. CST tomorrow. Don't forget to go through your tasks and perform them. They are very, very important, okay? Thank you so much, Tolu. Thank you, everyone.
Tolu, I gotta say this before we end.